All right, next guy up here, Lewis Cook, THS. How you doing?
Oh,
all right. Delano said you were also a very good baseball player.
Yeah, in fact, I was a better baseball player than I was a football player. When I was, I guess, I was about 15, 16 years of age. The New York Jets had inquired about me playing baseball for them. And I was, like I said, I was only like 15, 16 years of age at that time. In fact, the representative for the New York team came to Tucson looking for me. And they came to the house and was telling my mom that they were interested in me and they would take care of me, and but they needed for me to be on their roster to take over to New York. And my mom, I can still hear my mom hollering, "My son ain't going nowhere. Especially he's not going to New York all by himself." And at the time, my shoes had holes on the bottom of them. And I kept looking down at my shoe and I was saying, why don't they ask me what I want to do? You know, and I said, for one thing, I would make sure I got some shoes, I would make sure I got some pants to wear the next day. And my mom was still hollering, "No, my son ain't going nowhere." And then the representative kept saying, "We'll take care of him. Don't worry about him. We'll take care of him." Mom said, "No, he is not going nowhere." And that's the way it ended. Just like that.
So you played also, too, so you played basketball and also outstanding football player, state leading rusher, what, your junior year?
State leading rusher during my senior year. Yeah. Yeah, I had quite a year that year. I think I rushed for something like 1,600, almost 1,700 yards rushing and about 19, 20 touchdowns, something like that.
So then after Tucson High, you went to Arizona Western? Or?
I knew that question was going to come up. I had actually signed a letter of intent to play for Arizona State University. Things happened, and I decided that I'll go to junior college first. So, because a lot of my teammates went to Yuma, Arizona, to junior college, and so I got in the car and we drove up to Yuma. And when the coach found out I was there, he was hollering my name, "Lewis Cook, Lewis Cook." And I said, "Yeah, that's me." And he said, "What are you doing here?" "No, that's all right. Don't answer. We're going to sign you up right now." And so I went to junior college in Yuma, Arizona. And then after that, went on to Idaho State University.
So Arizona State, Idaho State, after 1 year at Yuma, then they come after you pretty hard then?
Yeah, they did. In fact, a lot of schools were after me playing football, but what they didn't know is I was a better baseball player than I was a football player. And I ended up at Idaho State, going to Idaho State. One of the coaches that was coaching at Idaho State, trying to recall, he was coaching at the University of Arizona. So he knew about what I could do in football. And Ed Kavanaugh was coaching at Idaho State at that time. And he took me in and took in a good friend of mine along with me. So we both ended up with a scholarship at Idaho State.
Yeah, it worked out for you, because then you went and played you got drafted by New England, right?
Okay, you're hitting some cold water now. Okay. It's a long story about what happened there. After the draft, when the draft was coming on, phone calls were made to Idaho State inquiring about me playing as a defensive back. At Idaho State, I played both offense and defense. I was their leading running back as well as their top defensive back as well. And I was told at the time that the New England Patriots were interested in drafting me in the second round. No, in the fifth round, sorry. And when the draft came and left, I was not drafted. And I was highly upset because I was all ready to take care of everybody at home. See? And it didn't happen. And after the draft was over with, then I started getting a lot of phone calls from the NFL and the Canadian League as well. And I was so mad that I didn't want to play in the NFL. I said, no, I'm going to Canada, so that's why I took off and left to Canada.
You played for Montreal for what, 8 years?
Played for the Montreal Alouettes, and the Saskatchewan Rough Riders were the two major teams. One of my biggest mistakes that I think I made is being my own self-agent instead of hiring an agent to make all the things that I needed and wanted, I didn't get. And so it turned out that I ended up playing in the Canadian Football League, played there for 7 years, and I played for Saskatchewan Rough Riders and the Montreal Alouettes.
Big difference, NFL, Canadian League?
The only thing I can say about that is that the field was wider and longer. The end zone from the end zone to in other words, the end zone is about 20 yards deep. Let me put it that way. And so if you can be on the 1 yard line and the quarterback can drive back and throw a deep pass into the end zone. Yeah. But I had a lot of fun. Don't regret that I went up to Canada. I don't regret it at all. I had a good time there, and that's where I completed my football playing right there in Canada.
Did you stay there around there? Did you come back to Tucson?
Oh, came back to Tucson, and every year, except one year I went back to Idaho State University and got my BA degree in business administration. And the other years, yeah, I came back and I said, no, wait a minute, let me back up. I went after the Canadian League, I went back, after I got done playing in Canada, I went to Idaho State, back to Idaho State, got my degree in business administration, and I bought a house in Idaho. And Pocatello, Idaho, it was always raining there. I mean, not raining, but snow just coming down and it would be cold, really, really cold. And one day I went outside and I had a shovel in my hand. I was getting ready to shovel the snow off my walkway. And I got tired and I said, that's it. I'm through shoveling the snow. And I took that shovel and threw it over in my neighbor's yard, and I told him, you can have it. And I told my wife, I says, we can come back and visit your parents here, but I'm going back to Tucson, Arizona. And so I came right on back to Tucson. And here I am.
Okay. Well, thank you. Congratulations. Good.
Okay. All right.